So wind and setup, okay? I get asked the question all the time, wind and setup. I think that there's one thing with a coyote you can't fool, and that's their nose, all right? Because they are going to know if you're there. I've had people say no, if they'll hold up at 300-400 yards. I've had them stop at 500 yards with a light breeze and turn around and bolt out of there. Once they've been to this dance, once they've been called in once and not been terminated, they are very aware. They're no different than your dog at home. They know what's going on, they have a memory, and they're going to get educated from it, okay? So this might be one of the most important parts of the setup. When I was learning how to coyote hunt, it was one of the things that Russell was so meticulous with, okay? If we came and we were gonna call out of 2 ridges over or 2 draws over, the topographical region, the geographical region you're hunting, it would be good to have a topographical reference. That's where our Delorum comes in really nice, because we can zoom in on that when we go to a new area and we can see what's a ridge or 2 ridges over, 300, 400, 500 yards, and we know what we're calling out of. So one is you got to know what you're calling out of. 2 is you want to make your approach into that setup really quiet, and you want to have the wind quartering at you one side or the other or directly in your face. That's an imperative part of the setup process. Now, also in the setup process, I take a pack with me, okay? I have a rangefinder because I want the range dial and dump system. So when we go into setup, I have a rangefinder with binoculars, good glasses, that I can know if a coyote does sit at 300 to 400, 500 yards. Because again, in your setup, what most people don't realize is that coyotes are very territorial. So I don't know if you've ever called in a coyote and he just stops out there about 500 yards and you can't get him to come across that. That's because there's an imaginary line. Think of it this way. If you put a collar on a dog and you train them with beep, 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 and then they won't leave that area, people make, they do that to their yards all the time, right? A coyote's the same way. Another coyote that's dominant will run that out, and that's that beep, 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 beep. They smell that scent and they know that that's another coyote's area, and they're not going to cross that. They won't penetrate that a lot of times throughout the year when you're calling. So when we make our setup, we're conscious of that, okay? And we were going to read that feedback that coyote gives us if he shows up. We have a rangefinder. I bring a small pack with me every time, and in that pack I have my electronic call, okay? I have a shooting sticks because I have a prone stick system that I can lay down and get prone on, okay, on the side of a hill. If I'm making a shot after 350, 400, I feel much more comfortable in a prone position. Or I have my stony sticks, which are just the sticks that sit in front of me that I put the rifle on and sit while I'm calling, okay? So when I'm setting up, I want the wind in my face or quartering in my face. I don't want to get skylined. I want to circumnavigate whatever geographical area that's there so I don't come right over the point, okay? We want to have good optics with us so we can see things long ways away and read their behavior if we are calling them in, okay? We want the right shooting sticks and equipment to be able to make an adjustment, all right? Now, don't be afraid to make a change to your setup. A lot of people, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment, but when calling, a lot of people I see make a mistake because if the coyote don't call, they send a bullet out there 600 yards trying a desperation shot. We would do probably just the exact opposite. We would say, shut it off, quit talking to them, let it get real quiet for 15, 20, 30 minutes, let that coyote either bed down or go do what it's going to do. Once it's distracted doing something else, because it's just like a dog, it's not going to, sit there forever. Once it's distracted, we're going to go cut the distance. We're going to actually get aggressive with that coyote and go to the coyote. So then we're going to cut that distance in half. I've seen Russell literally wait for a coyote to lay down in the middle of a grass flat. And when he laid down, he stood up on his feet, walked right at it, sat down, hit the mouse squeak, and when the thing stood up, he shot it at 50 yards. Because nobody would ever know that coyote was there. That coyote felt totally safe, And yet we did that by being quiet, going out there and going to that coyote, because that coyote wasn't going to penetrate that other area. So when you're setting up, we hope this helps you. For these tips and more, go to rollingbonesoutfitters.com and go ahead and be a member today, and you can get all of this information and more and plenty more to make you more effective in the field and a better hunter and enjoy your time in the great outdoors.